Today we'll be looking at academic writing and pre-writing or planning strategies. This is a sway presentation that I will be presenting as if we were sitting in a classroom together. Of course, I will not be able to engage in conversation with you as I would like to if we were in a classroom, but you'll get to hear some of my thoughts and anecdotes as we go along. So here are the learning objectives, but let's just jump right into academic writing and APA format. The following quotes are from actual students from previous semesters. Do any of these feelings seem familiar to you? Can you relate to these students? The dream of writing went out the window pretty quickly because I always was afraid to look like an idiot on paper. Even to this day, I am afraid of writing in places that other people can see. I will avoid sending emails or anything that someone else can be made aware of just how bad I am at spelling, grammar, and punctuation. It gets frustrating because I always have great ideas of things to write and start writing them down, but then end up giving up because I don't know how to put everything together and am afraid to have anyone else see. I have never been good at writing. I barely passed my English classes in grade school. I graduated from high school 15 years ago and haven't done any kind of writing since then. Quite frankly, I am not a good writer. It's not that I do not like to write, but when I do write, it's a painstakingly slow process with a lot of deleting. I struggle with grammar and spelling. I have no idea what APA format even is. Do these sound familiar? I think for a lot of students, these are some of the feelings that one might feel as they begin an English class. And so we're going to just be taking it a little bit at a time, and I know that you will all be strong writers when we're done. So let's begin with what is academic or scholarly writing. Academic writing is a style of writing used primarily in an academic setting, a college or university, but can transfer to other settings such as the workplace or professional journals, online sources, etc. The purpose of academic writing is to convey knowledge and understanding to a specific audience in an effective, intelligent, objective, and formal manner. So, for example, which of these sentences is more academic and why? 1. He bought a couple of things for his class. 2. He purchased several notebooks for his English course. Okay, both of these sentences say the same thing. Which one sounds more academic? If you said 2, you are correct. What is it about that sentence that makes it sound more academic? I want you to kind of think about what specifically is the difference. They're both saying the same thing, but what makes one sound more academic over another? Here's another example. 1. I think that writing good means taking your ideas and writing them so that other people can get your meaning. 2. Effective writing presents ideas in such a way that readers can clearly grasp the writer's intended meaning. Now, I know some students start to get a little nervous here because they say, but that's what I sound like. Number 1, that's what I sound like when I write. How do I make my writing sound more academic, like number 2? And so that's where we're going to be examining what are the components, what are the aspects, what are the characteristics of academic writing so that you can incorporate those into your own writing. So one of those characteristics is planned and focused writing. Academic writing takes some work, planning, outlining, pre-writing, research, writing, and then repeat. The writing is focused and has a clear purpose. Okay, so academic writing isn't just journal writing where you just let your feelings go and just write whatever comes to your mind. It takes some work. And so you need to be prepared for that when you are writing, it's going to take some work to do academic writing. And that is a clear sign is whether or not the writing is focused and that you can immediately tell what the purpose of that writing is. Another characteristic is structured and connected ideas. Writing is organized and coherent, and ideas are clearly connected for optimum understanding. Another characteristic is evidence and research. Writing provides information that is supported by evidence and research. All evidence is referenced correctly. This is huge. It actually makes you look smarter when you make a claim if you back it up by research. So you're saying, I say this, and so does this smart person and this smart person. You always want to back up your writing with strong research. Also, academic writing has more of a formal tone, style, and language. You'll notice that academic writing avoids using personal pronouns like I or slang. You're not going to hear, darn, that was awesome, or, something like that. You're not going to see emojis in academic writing. You're not going to see text talk, that kind of thing. The writer uses appropriate grammar, spelling, and language in order to avoid distracting the reader from the content. The writer avoids using slang, casual language, and first-person point of view. Also, academic writing is clear and concise. Writing is focused and to the point. There's no need for complicated language, wordy vocabulary, or flowery rhetoric. So academic writing isn't going to have necessarily poetry. It's not going to be flowery and fluffy. But that does not mean that academic writing is boring. So before you make that equal sign between academic writing and boring, just get that out of your mind. Academic writing can be very interesting to read and to write if it's done correctly. So now let's look at what exactly is APA format. Humans have always developed implicit and explicit rules regarding written communication since the beginning of writing on cave walls. The caveman would say, okay, going from left to right is how we're going to read. This symbol means horse, this symbol means deer. There were clear rules so that they could understand what those hieroglyphics or writings meant. The purpose has always been the same: to communicate an idea in one's head to another person as effectively as possible. APA format is just another set of rules. Maybe you're familiar with other styles such as MLA or Chicago style format. APA was developed to help communicate ideas in writing as effectively as possible. APA stands for the American Psychological Association and was developed in 1929 by a group of psychologists, anthropologists, and business managers. They established a set of style rules and guidelines in order to create more conformity in writing and thus better reading comprehension. The idea is that you know what to expect as a reader. It makes reading faster and it's easier to comprehend what the main ideas are because you know what the style is, you know what to expect from the organization. And it just makes it easier to write and easier to read if you have the same rules that you're working with. The focus of APA writing is clear and concise communication, giving accurate credit, credibility and relevance of sources, providing easy access to references. The two main components of APA style writing are 1, the format and organization of the paper, and 2, citations and the reference page. So if you can focus on those two things and focus on improving step by step the format and organization of your paper and really getting your citations and your reference page down, then you've got APA format. There are a plethora of resources, including your APA manual, and we're really stressing to use your APA manual as a guide. Get sticky notes and highlighters and write in it. I know it's not maybe a fun read. It's not something you're going to sit and read on a Friday night for fun, or maybe some of you will. But for most of us, it's a guide, it's a help. You go to it as you need it. But there are also online resources and even APA generators that can help you with the APA format. For example, a great online resource is Purdue OWL. There are also programs that you can buy to help you with APA format. But in this course, we will go through APA format piece by piece until you are a pro. So save your money and really go through the material presented in this course. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If you do these things, you will see success. So now let's look at how to become a successful writer. The very first thing you need to do is to recognize yourself as a writer. This is really big for me. For example, I used to always say, I am not good at math. And as long as I said I am not good at math, guess what? I never got good at math. But maybe some of you have heard of the growth mindset. The idea is the way you think of things is going to limit or empower you. So recognize that all human beings have that ability to be a writer and that you are a writer. We're all at different levels of writing, but we are all writers. The second thing you need to do to become a successful writer is to become a strategic and metacognitive writer. When I say strategic, you need to remember that we are strategic beings by nature. When we want something enough, we find ways to accomplish our goal. What we do in the process is consider, try, and discard ideas or strategies until we find what brings success. Strategies are tools. The more tools in your toolbox, the more prepared you are for any challenge or situation. Anything we do, we're trying different strategies until we get it right. Whether it's a sport or cooking or even just figuring out how to keep your house clean. There are different strategies for everything that we do. When I say metacognitive, that means thinking about your thinking, which sounds complicated, but really you're just trying to understand the why and how behind the what. It's an awareness of when, how, and why to use strategies. You're starting to pause and think, okay, what's going on in my head? What am I doing? And are the strategies I'm currently using effective? Because sometimes we have ineffective strategies that we keep doing. For example, procrastination can be a strategy, but it's not necessarily an effective one. But for some people, it can be effective at times because a last minute deadline gives you the motivation you need in order to complete a project. But procrastination is not a strategy that can be used across the board. It's something that works by chance a lot of times. But you need to start thinking about, what am I doing? What are my processes? And are they working? Are there other processes that might work better? And we're going to be looking at the writing process, which I'm sure you have heard of in your life. In junior high, high school, they discuss the writing process a lot. But you need to remember that the writing process is a set of strategies to use to be an effective writer. The writing process is not a linear process. I like to think of it as a pinball. going back and forth, because some people, they think, okay, I'm going to do pre-writing, and then I'm going to do drafting, and then I'm going to do revision, and then I'm going to do editing and publish, and I'm done. And they think of it as a check off list. And maybe when you were in high school and your teacher said you had to have a rough draft and a second draft and a final draft, I know me personally, I copied, I made 3 copies the night before the assignment was due, and I kind of crinkled one to make it look like a rough draft. That was not using the writing process effectively. So, the writing process, I love this diagram. It's kind of just bouncing back and forth, because maybe you do some pre-writing strategies and you start writing your essay and you get stuck and you need to go back and do some more pre-writing strategies. Or maybe you're the kind of person who revises and edits while you're drafting. Or maybe you're a person who waits till the very end, and or as you're doing revision, you realize that you need to do some more writing. So it's a process that just it's never really done, actually, but it's a great process, and it's a strategy that you can use to help you as a writer. So let's look at pre-writing strategies. In the beginning, you receive a writing assignment. How do you begin? So I've got this picture of this man painting a room. I don't know if you've ever painted a room before, but I know from experience that if you think it will be easier to just start painting, and that you'll just be careful and not drip any paint or whatever, it is so much more work than if you just take the time and tape everything and put the plastic down. It really makes less work to do the prep work. And I have found that out the hard way with painting. And it's the same with writing. We are going to go over some strategies to do before you start writing. It might seem time consuming and you might be tempted to just jump right in and start writing, but papers written without wise preparation are not only poorer in quality, but frequently more time consuming than papers written with attention to the pre-writing phase. So actually doing pre-writing strategies will save you time in the end and will make for better writing. So first you need to analyze the assignment. What is being asked? What is expected? If there's anything you don't understand, ask. Don't wait until the very end, the night before an assignment is due, to look at it, and then if you have questions, it's too late. So make sure you understand exactly what the assignment is asking for, and if you don't understand that, then talk to your instructor. For example, here is the final essay assignment. The culminating project in this course is to write a 7-page thesis paper on a healthcare topic of interest. It can be a persuasive or argumentative, informative, descriptive, problem solution, or a cause-effect essay. The important thing is that you are adding to the conversation in regards to your topic. The final 7-page thesis paper will follow current APA style formatting and include a title page, abstract, and at least 5 sources on the reference page with citations throughout the body of the paper. Just to clarify, the title page, abstract, and reference page can be included in the 7-page requirement. So basically, your essay itself should be 4 to 7 pages. Your final essay should be formatted in APA style, as taught throughout this course. Here are some basic guidelines. So then there's some guidelines there. What criteria stand out to you? What questions do you have? Make sure you understand what is expected right from the beginning. The next thing you should do when given a writing assignment is, if you're not sure on the genre or type of writing, get a little background on that specific genre. Get a good feel for it. Look for examples. The APA manual actually has great examples and step-by-step guides for writing specific APA essays, such as research essay or scientific journal article. But I will usually just search online with topics such as how to write an argumentative paper, or examples of college argumentative papers, or even just, I'll just Google argumentative papers or cause and effect papers. And I'll look at examples. For a lot of the assignments that you'll be given in this course, I try to provide examples for you and models. Uh, they're not to copy, but it's good to get an idea of kind of what the expectations are for that genre and to kind of see what it looks like. The third thing you need to consider is your purpose and stance as a communicator. What is the purpose of your writing? Why are you writing this essay? Why is this topic important to you? Why should this topic matter to the reader? These are important questions to ask yourself right at the beginning, because if you don't have a good purpose, then you're not going to have good writing. And I absolutely love this diagram. When you're thinking about your purpose, like, how do you feel about your topic? Do you have a passion about your topic? Or is this something that is your expertise, that you have a lot of experience with? Are you being paid to write about this or assigned to write about it? And does the world need more information on this topic? And so if you look at all of these things, in the middle of all of that is your purpose. Consider your purpose and the purpose of the assignment. Is the purpose to explain, to persuade, to entertain, to show what you've learned, to evaluate, to learn about a topic, to communicate ideas, to express or reflect, to inquire and explore, to analyze and evaluate, to take a stand, to evaluate and judge, to propose a solution or seek common ground, to inform or explain? There are a lot of purposes in writing. Every form of writing, however, is working to persuade other people to see the world as the writer does. Also consider your stance. Where are you coming from on this topic? What is your overall attitude toward your topic? How strong are your opinions? For example, with this, I've seen 3 different students write about the same topic and have completely different essays because they've come from different angles. They've looked at different parts of that topic and focused on different aspects of that topic. You also need to ask what social, political, religious, personal, or other influences might affect your writing on this topic. What is most interesting about your topic? Why do you care? How will you establish your credibility on this topic? For example, I had a student that was writing about, it was a form of cancer that that children get, and that's mostly common in children. And she came to me about halfway through the semester and she said, I feel like my essay is so boring. I don't understand. I don't know how to make it interesting because I read over what I've got so far and it's just dry and boring. And so I asked her why she was writing about this topic. And she started to tell me how she works in a facility that works with these children that have been diagnosed with this cancer. And I said, "Well, why are you writing this? And who's your audience? Why do you want to write about this topic?" And she said, "I want people to know more about this so that there will be more research because people don't know what these kids are going through." And I said, "Okay, that's your stance. Like, your focus is on informing people about this cancer and what these children are going through. And your purpose is that you want to persuade people to fund more research for this." And it was like a light went off in her head and she went back and she rewrote her essay and it was a lot better and it was interesting. It wasn't boring at all, and it was very strong, persuasive writing. And it's something that still sticks out in my mind because it was well written. So you really need to think about your purpose and stance when you're writing, because if your purpose is just to get a good grade, that's not going to be enough. And like I said, she needed to think about who her audience was. And that's a really big thing. You need to consider your audience. Sorry. You need to be able to write for a variety of audiences, and you need to analyze who your audience might be every time you write, whether formally or informally, including emails, texts, social media, memos, etc. Always be aware of your audience. I honestly believe with social media, I feel like we would have more world peace if people who posted on social media would be more considerate of their audience. Sometimes with a writing assignment, you'll have more than one audience. You may be asked to write to a specific audience in the assignment, but you need to be aware of the teacher or instructor as an audience also. But please, when you're writing your final essay, don't just be thinking of your instructor as your only audience. Be thinking of who needs to hear what you have to say about your topic. Also, imagining a person or group or a set of characteristics can often help to generate writing that just looking at a blank page cannot. Sorry, let me read that one more time because I love that quote. Imagining a person or a group or a set of characteristics can often help to generate writing that just looking at a blank page cannot. So just trying to think of something to write, sometimes you can get a lot of writer's block and you can get stuck. But if you go back to who am I writing this for, and you picture them in your head, it makes it so much easier to get those words on that paper. Thinking about a specific audience helps improve writing as the writer considers how do you want the reader to read your writing? What do you want the reader to gain from reading this? Why should the reader care about what you're writing about? So let's talk about some brainstorming strategies. If no specific topic is given, decide on a topic. Start out general and then try to make it more specific. Use brainstorming strategies in the beginning and whenever you feel stuck in your writing. There are various brainstorming strategies. Choose the strategy that works best for you and for the writing situation. Maybe one strategy works really well for one writing assignment, but not so much for another. So you have to be able to adjust which strategies are going to work best. And most of us, we have our favorite writing strategies also. So one brainstorming strategy is listing. And this is just what it says. Make a list. I am a big list maker. We make to-do lists, grocery lists. I make lists of lists that I need to make. I love lists. So to use lists to help you decide on a topic, just write the overall topic on the top of a piece of paper, in this case healthcare, and then just begin listing all the ideas that come to mind. You can then go through your list and highlight the ideas that stand out to you. To use lists to help you once you have a topic, just write your topic at the top of the paper. I was thinking about writing about migraines and babies, but now I've changed my topic, and that's okay. But list everything you know about that topic as well as any questions that you might have. So stop right now and make a list of topics that you could possibly write about for your final essay. As long as it relates to healthcare in some way, you can write about it. Another strategy is called free writing or looping. To use free writing as pre-writing strategy, you simply give yourself a set amount of time. So you say, okay, you set a timer for 1 minute or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want to set the time limit. And you start your timer and just start writing. Don't take your pen off the paper, don't stop typing until time is up. For me personally, I do better when I write by hand than when I do typing, just because when I'm on a computer, I tend to pay too much attention to editing as I go along. You don't need to write in complete sentences, just write whatever pops into your head. The more you use this strategy, the easier it gets. I know some writers who will do 30 minutes to an hour of free writing every day just to get that stream of conscience going. Once you are done writing, look at what stands out to you and look to see if there are any underlying themes or main ideas. So give it a try. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Write healthcare at the top of the page. Start your timer and just write down anything that comes to mind. Like, this strategy is just emptying your brain, and then look and see, does anything stand out? This next strategy is probably one of the most popular strategies used by writers. Past students tended to use this strategy the most, and I use bubble mapping for almost everything I do. Whether it's planning a birthday party, or when I was single, I used to use this to plan dates or to choose which guys I was most interested in. Anytime I need to plan something, I still use bubble mapping. So basically, what you do is you just write your topic in the center circle and then begin branching off from the center circle with your ideas. You can use words or pictures in bubble mapping. So write healthcare in the middle of your paper and then circle it. Then draw a line from that and go from there. Just do whatever comes to your mind. What are you passionate about? What experiences do you have that you can build upon? What are hot topics in the news concerning healthcare? What do you want to know more about? So just start branching off of that. Another strategy is using an image or video search. So this is kind of, I call this a gambling strategy. So what you do is you simply type your topic into an internet search engine and click on image search or video search. What comes up? Is there anything that gives you ideas for a topic or for a direction to take in your writing? I think of this strategy as, like I said, a gambler strategy. You throw it all in and hope luck will be on your side. I don't use this strategy very often, but sometimes it has proven helpful. Some people really like this strategy. Give it a try and see what you think. This is also a good strategy to use as a jumping off point once you have your topic. Sometimes a simple internet search can give you good ideas of what direction to take once you know what you're writing about. And here are just a few more other brainstorming strategies. Keep a reflective journal, writing journal, or private blog. Carry a small notebook with you to write down your ideas as they come. I've had students who are sitting in the middle of their A&P class and suddenly the instructor says something and they're like, that's what I want to write about. Or, you're sitting at a restaurant and you overhear a conversation and you think, that's what I want to know more about. Or, oh, I didn't even think of that. Ask questions. What is it? What caused it? What is it like or unlike? What larger system is the topic a part of? What do people say about it? Who, what, when, where, why, how? Questions are great pre-writing strategies, especially once you have your topic. Write down all of your questions that you have about your topic or questions that your audience might have, and then you can plan your writing based on those questions and finding answers to those questions. Collaborate. This is one strategy that I use a lot. Talk to your peers, take a poll, start an online discussion, etc. So I might just go onto Instagram or Facebook and I might just say, or Twitter, and just say, I had to write this essay for my English class on healthcare. What do you guys think? What would you write about if you had to do this? Or what do you think I should write about? And sometimes you get some great ideas just by talking it out. So writing can feel like it's really hard, But if you can get a strong topic, that's going to make all the difference. So make sure you narrow your topic. Make sure it's the right fit for you. Ask, what is your connection to the topic? What does your audience need to know? Is the topic interesting to you, and will it be interesting to your readers? How can you make your topic manageable? Test your topic. As you begin to research, are there too many resources available? Maybe your topic is too general. Is it difficult to find anything? Maybe your topic is too specific or narrow. For example, if you decide you're going to write your essay on cancer, if you type in cancer into a search engine, you're going to get millions of hits because that's a very broad topic. You're going to want to narrow that topic down a lot more. But on the other end of the spectrum, I had a student once who had a topic. It was something I'd never heard of. And as she began to research, she discovered that there wasn't a lot of information on it, and that there wasn't a lot of research that had been done on this. And she decided to change her topic because it was too difficult to work with, because there just wasn't enough support for her topic. So you need to kind of, as you research, gauge where your topic falls on that spectrum. Is it too broad? Is it too specific? Or is it right in that perfect zone? Also, you need to make sure your topic is interesting to you, because if you are bored by your topic, your reader is going to be bored by your topic, and you are going to be working with this topic in this class for the next 14 weeks. And so you want to make sure that this is a topic that you are interested in. For example, last semester I had a student who was really struggling to decide on a topic, and he changed his topic 3 or 4 times. And finally, by the 3rd week, I spoke with him and I said, "Hey, what's going on? Why do you keep changing your topic?" And he said, I tried researching this and I just wasn't really feeling it. And then I started researching this other topic, but it wasn't interesting to me. And as we talked, he said, originally I wanted to write about how cancer affects family members, but he said, I don't know if that's an appropriate topic for this essay. And he started telling me his personal experiences and why he originally wanted to write about that. And as he talked, I could tell that topic meant a lot to him. And so I told him to write about that topic. I said, this is something that you're passionate about. Go research it. Figure it out. And so when he wrote his final essay, he wrote a very powerful essay because he wrote about a topic that he had experience with and he was passionate about. And you could feel that as you read the essay. And it's an essay that will probably stick in my mind because it was something that mattered to him and he made it matter to me as a reader. So that's it. That's everything you need to know for this week. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know.